Hey everyone, welcome to the next episode of Between Two Erics. I am Eric Miller, Chief Advisor and the Elvis Presley of personal finance for practice owners. And I am here with
Eric Gersh, Financial Advisor and Just a Dude.
Just a Dude. So we are here to obviously help you along your journey in making sure that you have the right attitude and you're taking the right actions to get yourself into financial independence. So we meet every week. We talk about a subject that is definitely true for practice owners, and this week we're going to talk about the cash flow crunch, right? So this is, what would you say a cash flow crunch would be?
Just not enough money coming in.
Yeah.
You got more going out than you have coming in. You're insolvent. You're in a cash flow crunch.
That's a cash flow crunch right there. So a lot of practice owners get into this condition for whatever reason it happens, right? I think I've seen even the best practice owners have had months where they're like, oh my God, I can't cover payroll, or
Yes.
I've had difficult, there's a problem, right? And if they don't have a ton of reserves, which they should, right? Then that creates a cash flow crunch.
Yep,
okay.
exactly.
So what we want to go over today is what?
Just some different items that you should do if you find yourself or when you find yourself in this position.
Okay, good. So why don't we start with numero uno, okay? So here's the first thing that I definitely recommend that everyone do. Okay, you're in a cash flow crunch. That just didn't happen generally overnight. People think that oh my gosh, this just happened. No. Generally, what happens, there's some things that were in that you weren't paying attention to, all of a sudden got neglected. Okay. And you got to go back and kind of like find out what happened. Okay. So the first thing that I would do when we're in a cash flow crunch that you absolutely have to do is get the team back coordinated with one another. Okay. Make sure that everyone knows and remembers the purpose of the organization, right? Because you're there for a reason, okay? And everyone is there to do a job. And if they're not coordinated, if they don't remember why we're doing it, then they just kind of go through the motions after a while.
Very true.
Yeah. So you've seen it like maybe a team that is like, we've won so much, and then, we'll just kind of get lazy, right? Or that we forget why we're doing this, right? So you really have to get back as an owner. This is your responsibility, and establish that vision. Make sure everyone knows the purpose of the organization, and really get that back in really, really strong. You know what I mean? And then I think just making sure people know their jobs and can do their jobs. It's really simple, right?
Very basic.
Yeah, it's very, very basic. But that right there, I think, will get everybody back on board and will allow the business to kind of just get a second win, so to speak. Okay? So that's number one. That's the first thing I would do. What's the next thing?
Next thing I would do is something you should be doing all the time, but even more important in a cash flow crunch. You have to set your targets. Okay? When most people set their targets, they think low.
Yeah.
They think operating expenses, which are important. But you also need to consider taxes. You need to consider some reserves so that these are there to help you out next time. And over and above that, you need to think about your owner pay.
Yeah.
If you're not factoring all of those things in to your make-break number, excuse me.
Say that 7 times, right?
It's too low.
It's too low, right?
So that is something else that they should do immediately, is figure out what are my direct income targets.
Yeah, because your business is going to make what you expect it to make and what you demand it to make. And if you're operating on a make-break number that's $20,000 less than what it should be, it's no wonder you're in a cash flow crunch.
You're going to be insolvent.
Yeah, you're going to be insolvent. So I think the point is just make sure that you're including all of your reserves, your profits, your owner pay, and your taxes into your make-break number.
Exactly.
Yeah, and should the staff know what that number is?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the staff should absolutely know what the make-break number is.
If they don't know what it is, they don't know what they're working toward.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good. So number 3. Are we on number 3?
We are.
Oh, and number 3. Okay. So another thing that I definitely would do in a cash flow crunch is there are certain services that every practice owner does that are, number 1, they're profitable. Number 2, they're easy to deliver and they're in demand, right?
Yep.
those are the products that I would push out as fast as possible, right? Because if you're in a cash flow crunch, what do you need?
Money.
Cash, right? So you're going to need to what are those services that I know that we can get out really, really fast, that have a pretty good profit margin and are pretty easy to deliver, right? And are in demand. Okay, that's where I would look. So if all of you have a list of all the income sources that you have in your business, take a look at them and say, this is what we're going to hit right now. Okay, so I'm not going to neglect the other ones, but I would want to get those ones out as fast as I could, just to get the practice back at least into a solvent condition.
Agree.
Yeah, good.
Agree.
All right.
All right. Last thing you need to do. Well, not the last thing, but last thing we're going to cover today. Increase your prices.
Oh my God.
Too many people are so hesitant to do this. I think I don't know what it is. Maybe they're scared that people are going to complain, push back. I don't know. You need to be increasing your prices. Probably 3 to 5% per year. I don't care how you do it. Do it half and half, January and June. Do it all at once. Doesn't matter. But if you're not increasing your prices, over time, inflation that's sure as heck not stopping.
That's not stopping, right?
And you're just making less and less money.
Yeah.
On top of that, I think everybody's employees, they want raises each year.
Yep, they sure do.
Vendors aren't getting cheaper.
Nope.
So if you're not increasing your prices, you're just slowly falling behind further and further as time goes on.
It's true. So I think with that, you definitely have to you can't be scared. If you get a little pushback, that's okay, right? That means that your price points are about where they should be. You should just be getting a little bit of pushback, right? Yeah. But so if your prices are definitely too low, you got to adjust that. I mean, that's a very quick way to get your cash flow back up pretty quickly.
Immediate.
That's genius right there. Okay, good. So I think the last one, and this is one, of course, that we've seen with a lot of practice owners, is that there is most likely, if your cash flow is down, especially for a long period of time, you probably have someone in your organization that is a negative influence.
Yeah, and it can be worse than that. I mean, how many times have we had someone getting stolen from?
Yes, right. It could be anybody ripping you off, or just not
some negative influence.
Yeah, it's just somebody that's always like the negative Nancy, or the person that's always everything bad is happening to me right now, and they always have problems around them, and they just never can solve it themselves, right?
Look, me.
Yeah, we're all going to have problems, right? I mean, everyone's going to have a problem. I have problems, you have problems, okay, great. But it's consistently, it's all the time. It's
their life is one big problem.
Yeah, it's like they woke up in the morning and they decided they wanted to be a professional victim.
What's the event of this week?
Yes, what kind of drama can I create, right? And they're always not, some people are kind of overt about it, but some people just don't say anything, right? But they're always kind of stirring the pot. You got to really root those people out, because they are definitely a drag on your cash flow, okay? That to me is probably one of the most important things you can do. It's the toughest thing for a business owner to do, because they don't want to confront having to get rid of somebody, but you really do have to root out those people that are completely negative.
Absolutely.
So that's good. All right. Well, that's for today. We have a lot more that we could actually cover in this, right?
Yeah, that's about half the list.
Wow, we got 6 more things that we can cover, but we're going to keep that a secret.
Yes.
Right? If you think that this is good information, share it out there. We want to impact as many practice owners as we can to get your money right. So with that, we're going to fist pump. That's a good job, brother. And that was a bad fist pump, man. You got to learn how to do that better. Where'd you get that shirt, by the way?
TJ Maxx.
It's pretty nice. All right. All right. We'll check you next time. I am Eric Miller, the Elvis Presley of personal finance for practice owners, right? Let's face it, the guy's been dead 50 years?
Still making more money.
Still making more money than most people are.